Welcome back to the Real Talk Corner podcast, where we dive deep into spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical truths that shape our lives and our world. I'm your host, Ariana Gutierrez, and today I'm joined by a special guest, Big Juice, an upcoming rapper from Louisiana. In today's episode, we'll dive into his incredible journey from the streets, how music became his outlet for pain, and his steadfast choice to remain authentic in an industry often filled with fakes. Join us for an inspiring and powerful conversation that highlights the true essence of staying genuine. Let's get started. The Real Talk Corner. We back. We in the building. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, fighting my way through the darkness where the wicked don't rest. Conscious aware, truth I dare, shields tied to my chest. My tenacity gon' put these motherfuckers to the test. High priestess of fire, alchemistic desire. I say manifest and shit, even when I am tired. You can call me amazing, by the bricks I be laying, but you'll never call me lazy, cause my vice are devastating. In the league of my own, spitting real talk energy. I know a little something about a thing called synergy. This is so ready to throw a sun and masses awaken me. Listen up, cause we about to set your mind, body, and soul free. All right, let's get into it. Another episode of the Real Talk Corner. I'm your host, Ariana Gutierrez, and today I have a special guest, Big Juice, in the building.
Wow. Yeah, what's good? What's in?
So, for the people who don't know you or haven't heard your music, he is a rapper. I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit about himself, and then we will go into just everything that we're talking about tonight.
All right, what's good, everybody? I go by the name Big Juice. My name Juju. I'm originally from New Orleans. Um, I live in Cali now. I moved to Cali to change everything about me that the style I used to live, everything I used to do. Um, Pretty much about me, what really inspired my music, or what really inspired me to be who I am today, was just the lifestyle that I grew up in. And I really just got tired of it. And I realized within myself that I was bigger, I was greater than what I was portraying myself to be. So I decided to take a different route. And the things that I went through, the things that I've personally witnessed, the things that I felt, I allow my music to express that to the listener, so that eventually, because I'm really aiming at people who come from what I come from. I'm aiming at the people who are stuck in a position that they feel like they can't get out of. So yeah, my music starts off with something that they're used to. It's not all positive in the beginning, because I'm trying to put my music out to the people who can relate to what I'm saying. And then afterwards, it's like, okay, I'm going fishing. I got them in there. I hooked them. Now let me take you on over here to some truth. So it's like I'm baiting them up to get them where I want them to go. Just to show them, because if I come out all, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? High and mighty, I guess. So,
Like conscious rap.
like conscious rap. If I come out with conscious rap, the ones that I'm trying to touch are not going to accept it like that, because that's not their reality. So,
Right.
that's a little bit about me.
Okay. You know, I have a love. I'll always have a love for hip hop. I always have a love for rap. I
Mm,
do dislike how saturated it is with all the negative, and we don't
right.
have like the balance of the positive. But I do love storytelling. So I like that you were saying that, like, just what you're doing is bringing these stories that is reality. It is the lifestyle that people are going through, so people can relate to it, and hopefully in there somewhere they can get the bits and pieces to change and do something different, right? So
Right.
tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in music to begin with.
Well, if I'm being transparent here, can I be transparent on this
And
platform? Okay. So if I'm really being transparent, um, so my I was adopted. I'm just gonna start from the beginning. I was adopted by an older couple. When I was 2 weeks old, they adopted me. They was like 60 years old. Um, and my real father, he was incarcerated um since 1995 for murder. My grandfather, the same situation, which he's passed away, and my biological mother gave me up. So my adopted mother and father, well, my adopted father was a Freemason. My adopted mother was an Eastern Star. I grew up in a Baptist kind of environment, but I
Mm,
I just felt like that wasn't what my essence was. So I
mm,
traveled, looking for the truth. So when I got up to about the age of 14 years old, a situation happened that I ain't gonna talk about right now, but a situation happened that pretty much separated me from them. And I was on my own pretty much at that moment. So I adapted to the streets. Now my whole since I was born up until like the age of 14, my parents they wanted me to stay away from gangs and drugs, stay away from the environment. They knew what was gonna happen in that environment.
right.
But I got nosy, and I got knee deep and um, from there I can say, and I'm trying to say this in a safe way, but um, I made a mistake a couple times. I made a mistake, and with me making that mistake came consequences. So one of the consequences was, I got tied up to the swamp that was about to kill me. A lot of drugs.
Mm,
So and it all comes up to where I'm at now. But I got so deep and involved in what I was involved in that I become like head honcho of my team. What I was in, and I was misguided. I was misled. Through all of that. But I was also blessed and covered. So going back to me searching different religions, I was just going through different religions trying to find the truth, really trying to find some peace within. You
mhm.
know, um, I went through Hurricane Katrina, which actually is what saved my life, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, it saved my life. I was incarcerated during Hurricane Katrina. I was on third level, and long story short, I came out of that situation. I'm trying to be safe on here. I'm being honest. I
Right,
came out of that situation. I ended up moving to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. Um, Still kind of trying to find my way, and I finally made it to Cali where I decided to change my whole life. So basically, growing up, my life was consisted of drugs, alcohol, killing, um, just a whole lot of negative stuff to where I came to the point where that wasn't for me anymore. It's not what I wanted, not what I wanted to do. And I didn't tell nobody I was even coming to Cali. I just was like, I'm finna up and just change my life. So Cali been real good to me. I've been a whole different person out there. People wouldn't even suspect that I went through the stuff I've been through, but that's
mm.
not what I want people to see me as anymore. I learned some knowledge. I got a message for people.
I know that and definitely don't want to incriminate yourself and say
Yeah,
anything like that or like get you in trouble with anyone. But I am glad that you are pulling it in, having that message, especially for like the younger generations coming up
right,
and looking at this and saying, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's cool to be out there in them streets. It's cool to do that." And it's just like, no, it's not. Not the reality of
right,
it.
right,
It's
right.
not cool. It's not, you're not going to get your fame out there. It's not the long
Most
term,
definitely.
you
Most
know,
definitely.
you'll probably end up dead, right? And you have
Yeah.
this story of the like being blessed that you've can't kind of made it out and you're still alive, right?
Right. Most definitely. Most
Yeah.
definitely.
So give us a little bit of you. What are your biggest musical influences that coming up and just inspired you
Hmm.
to pick up the pen and paper?
Well, if I'm being honest, like I had a friend back. He's a comedian now. I don't know what made him go that route, but he's a comedian now. His name Johnny Sweat. He just wanted to rap, and I was used to always be around him. So I was he was rapping one day, and I was like, man, I don't know how you do that, but and I tried it and I did it. We came up with a group called DA Squad. So he influenced me to rap. But as far as music concerned, I've always, I've always like BG. I love BG. You know, um, I've always liked pop. I like this music, but I'm not gonna say like I was die-hard fan of pop, but I know he's one of the greats when it comes to the music. Um,
Yeah.
who else? Tip. I used to, Ti. I like
Yeah.
his style. I like what he did. Um, and I mean, honestly, after I got the hang of it myself, because I don't know everybody else's story, but I know when I listen to my music, I know it's true.
Mm,
So it influences me when I hear it back. I can go back to the point where I remember when I did that. I remember that situation. I'm talking about it. Music was my diary, so I would have to say myself more than anything, but definitely those few artists that I named.
mm. I do believe you got to be your biggest fan.
Yeah,
You have to be your biggest fan, your biggest cheerleader to truly, truly keep striving and make it in a genre that's saturated with hundreds of people trying to do the same thing and
most
sounding
definitely.
the same. You definitely have to be that push for yourself, right? To get out
Mm-hmm.
there and keep doing it. So, what really inspires you to pursue like this being a rapper?
The message I have for the youth, I'm at the age where I'm just sick of hearing all this stuff, that other rappers or other artists or influencing our generation. Well, not my generation, but the younger generation to
Mm,
do, and how naive and gullible they are to think that that artist is actually living like that for real. I mean, so it's
right.
kind of like a setup. So, like I said, once again, I know I have to play on their level. I have to speak about what they're used to hearing, and it's not a lot because I used to live that. But I'm just trying to. It's a lot of people that they won't even speak up. Like it's a lot of people who are tired of that type of music, who are tired of the kill 'em up, type of music, the drug dealing, the smashing females type music. It's a lot of
Right.
people tired of it, but they don't want to be looked down on or looked at as being lame for stepping out or weird because everybody like to follow the Joneses. So I'm I'm just I'm just trying to catch them in another curve, and show them because it's people who are living like that and they hear this music and they hear somebody who be like, okay, I know he used to live like that, but
Mhm.
he's giving us a way out for real, and I really am.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot. I mean, like I'm in my 40s, so of course
Mm-hmm.
our rap from from my day is different from a lot of the stuff that they kind of create and do today.
Right,
Definitely different, but I mean, I can give props to people who story tell, and I can give props to people who, are coming out and giving message. But you got the ones that are just making
right,
money and
mm-hmm.
and shitting on communities and don't care of the repercussions to it. And we see that
Right,
hugely in the cultures, right? We see that hugely of how it's affected the youngins. And then you got now you don't even just have just poor or the ghettos, you got suburbia
right,
running
right,
around.
right,
It's
right,
cool to be hood. It's cool to be gangsta, and you got everybody just running around doing stupid shit. So I do love when we have to come, or not have to, but I do think that everyone sitting in the positions should have the diligence to be like, all right, yeah, I'm a storyteller, but I'm still gonna try to do something also to move people in a different way. Because this
yeah,
is at the end of the day, who wants to be in a position where you got to murder somebody? You
right,
know,
right,
you got to take a life or you got to hurt someone because dealing dope and all that shit is hurting people also. So it's
right.
just like having a look at that. And those skeletons stay there. Those memories stay there. I'm sure you have to deal with that on some level where you got to remember the shit from your past that doesn't go away.
Most deaf,
Money
you
ain't gonna
know,
make it better.
yeah, um, and if I'm looking on a bigger scale, I really only speak about myself, but
Mhm.
because I can't speak about anybody else. But
Yeah.
for me, you know, it was mental health for me, that I knew I was suffering. I knew what I was going through, exactly what you explained, and I just got tired of dealing with it. So I did have to reach out to people who could help me in those areas, getting therapists. I started off with certain medication, but I'm just not with that medication stuff no more, you know. But um I think the drive and the inspiration more than anything is the fact that we've been lied to, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and that's the drive, because like I say, like I've always went out and literally seek and search the truth, no matter
Mm,
where it came from,
right.
until I realized that everything says the same thing, and it's more about what is within. And the fact that we've been lied to and manipulated and duped, and nobody's doing nothing about it. Everybody's so hard and everybody's so gangster, but when it comes down to being gangster for who you are and standing up against your oppressor, the people who doing this, everybody's silent, everybody quiet,
Right.
and I'll get deeper maybe a little later about it. It just pisses me off, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Mm,
I understand completely though. I understand completely because you see it and it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy when you look at it. I was raised in the ghetto, so I know a
yeah,
lot about just being in the hood, in the ghetto, and all the bullshit that happens, and gangs and all of that shit. And it's
right,
sad. It is
right.
very sad, and it's like you think by now people would have woken up and shifted, but it's like even worse now. You got
Hmm.
more people just in the clueless to what's really going on out here. But
Right,
that's a whole nother podcast.
right. More there.
Let me come back to you and your skills. How do you approach songwriting? So, how do you approach that in creating your music?
Well, I get alone. I'm alone. Um, if I'm feeling a type of way or reminiscing about something or actually going through it, I go to myself. Before I even write anything down, I go to nature. Like I go on a hike, make sure I get my mind right.
Mm,
Um, then I come back and I jot it down. I jot it down, but I don't fully finish because the real work, the real art comes in when I go in the studio and kick everybody out of the studio except for the engineer. Like, let me drop this, and the engineer's with it. So, and that's where the real magic happens. It's more off of inspiration, how I'm feeling. It could be a situation. It's not too many situations that I haven't been through. The only thing I haven't done in my life is like two things, well, three things. I haven't died. I've never had a baby,
mm,
and I've never let me see, because I don't want to. I've never messed with the same sex. You
mm,
know, them the only
mm.
three things I've never done. But everything else I pretty much can relate to. So if
Yeah.
I see it happening, I just tell my version of it, of what I've been through. If I'm upset about something, instead of me becoming violent and reacting to it, I just, like, my music is my diary, and I just go there and tell the truth. I can't lie to myself. Therefore, people feel my music. They really feel it and they know it's true.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Now I know I kind of jumped on the YouTube, but you kind of explained that as someone from your team that puts the music on YouTube. So it's not like your actual channel on
Yeah,
YouTube. What are
this
all of the
yeah.
platforms that people can look you up and search your music?
Well, you can follow me on IG, to keep up with what I have going on in current or future dates. It's my IG is Ju Ju underscore the living LIVING underscore legend LEGEND. Um, I'm on all platforms with my music, so you just search Big Juice on all platforms. The
Oh,
way it's spelled up here, and all my music will come up.
okay. I will put some of the links in the description. I know I found you on Spotify and the one on YouTube, and I'll put your IG one on there also so they can
Okay.
go and find you.
Hmm.
Um, Anything particular that you're working on that's coming up that they should be looking out for?
Yeah, most def. My album's out. I actually have like a card where people can scan or whatnot and download my album. I sell them for $10. I've been working on that. I have like 8 shows coming up this month. I have another radio interview coming up out here in Cali. Um, and I've been getting to it, Um, and on another note, besides my music, I do help people that's in recovery. So everything that I've been through, I'm trying to give it back to people, because it was done for me. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be here. So I understand, I relate. So I feel for people who wants better in their life, but they don't really know how, because that demon is eating them up. Because when you're addicted to something, whether the heroin, cocaine, weed, whatever you're addicted to, it's hard to shake that. And
Yeah.
addiction is a disease. So I help people in that area. And with my music, I'm just getting to it. I got shows lined up. So if you're in the Cali area, I got the flyers up for all my shows. Just just come through if you're in the area. You can get tickets on Eventbrite for whatever show I have coming up.
So to see where you're going on shows, IG would probably be the best to kind of
Yeah, yeah,
shows and where you're at. Okay.
yeah.
Now, if someone was looking and they are having any issues as far as addiction go, how could they reach you off of IG? Also, would that be the best place for them to reach out?
You could reach out to me on IG. I don't really want to put my phone number, to everybody,
Right.
but because I just really changed my phone number.
Okay.
Um, but if people are suffering from addiction, if you do add me on IG, just DM me. And if you're really serious about your recovery and really want to get some help, I give my number and we can go
Right.
from there. Yeah,
Right. I definitely will say with addiction, just, and I'm glad that you're doing that. Like you got some things in the works of giving back. And that's a beautiful thing to
right,
find the time to still give back and try to help in whatever ways that you can.
right.
And I know addiction is one of those things that you really got to figure out the whys to it.
Hmm.
Wherever you got to figure out the why. Some people just love to do it and they got
Hmm.
to be honest with themselves
Right,
about the whys. Because if you can't get honest with it and understand why you're doing it, you won't be able to kick it. You won't be able to fight
right,
it. You won't be able
right.
to change, you
You know,
know?
ad- Addiction is always a deeper problem. The drugs and the alcohol is not the problem, it's the solution. You
Mm,
have to find the root of your problem of what made you turn to drugs to numb whatever you was going through, whether it's, problems growing up, or whether
yeah,
um, you know, I don't know, somebody did something to you, you've been raped before, whatever it is, it's a reason why you use. And once you heal yourself eternally from whatever it is, then the drugs and alcohol, it'll fade, whatever it is. But you gotta stay on top of it. Like drugs and alcohol addiction is it's no cure for it. It's no cure for addiction at all. You just have to always stay on top of it one day at a time, every day. Because it's cunning and baffling. It can hit you. You can be 25 years clean and it can hit you. Just
yeah,
so you have to always stay on top of it.
yeah. I don't truly believe it's a disease, and I don't want anyone to be offended by me saying that.
No,
I was raised in a house with two alcoholics. My dad was a heroin addict, so I was raised in a home and watching them. And I battled my own times of alcohol and using it to numb. It was my go-to to numb and kind of get away from life. Um, but I do feel like there's just, and it doesn't always, to me, I don't feel like there's always a trauma. I just had a podcast with a lady who she came from a good family
right,
and she just liked the way it felt. She loved the
right,
adrenaline she got. She loved what she was doing and she was having fun. So I think
right,
that's when I say like to really understand why you're doing it. What do you get from it? Because you're not just doing it for no reason. There's
right.
something you get out of it, whether you're feeling better, whether you're numbing, whether you're escaping, whether you like that rush, that adrenaline,
Yeah,
that crazy shit. Because some people do.
that's
But
true.
if you could get to the point, that root of why, then you have a chance of of working through it. I don't drink no more. I'm
Right.
someone who doesn't drink. I don't have no need. I don't have no taste for it, don't have no want, none of that. Because I sat and did those steps of the whys.
Right.
Why do
Right.
I need it? And then socially you realize I got a cup in my hand just because we're sitting at this place and that's what everybody does. Everybody gets a
Mm-hmm.
drink and okay, this is gone. So I got to get another one because I can't sit here with an empty cup. So now I got to get
Right.
another one. You know, it's simple things like that sometimes too that we don't even realize we're doing on a social basis. If
Right.
we just
Right.
realize, oh, I can go and get a soda, I can get a water and sit here with my water. I don't gotta
Most
drink.
definitely. Most
I
definitely.
don't gotta get a beer. I don't gotta do those things. And then separating yourself from like the sheep of following everybody else of what they
Yeah.
got.
Yeah. Most definitely.
But I love that you're doing that. I love that you're opening up and having people like, hey, if you need help, I got you. Having, I do feel like one of the things we kind of talked about just was the fact that people recovering, they've done so much shit sometimes to their family and friends that they don't have support in those moments, and
Right.
they can't go get that support from them because it's going to take a minute for them people to ever to kind of forgive them, or maybe if they ever let them back in their homes. But I do feel like they do need support somewhere, even if
Most
you
definitely.
can't go back to the people you want to go back with. Hopefully you can find someone, you know, like yourself or some people out there that can give them that and give them that encouragement to keep
Most definitely.
striving to get clean. So I think that is pretty damn awesome. um all right. I wanted to, I know you kind of touched some of the challenges that you went through, like coming up to where you're at now. And I mean, just giving you props. Katrina was a big thing. If you guys remember Katrina, I know a lot of people probably don't. I remember that. That was, I was in Miami at the time, but in
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana, y'all got hit. That was crazy to
Yeah.
go through that and then still be alive. When we talk about the therapy that you got and healing and stuff like that, I always tell everyone if you've lived in any type of situation of poverty, gangs, anything like that, you got PTSD. You are walking around with PTSD.
Yeah. Fact.
So, are you still doing things far as therapeutic? What do you do to kind of keep your mind right and work on yourself?
So I currently still have three therapists. I've always had three therapists that I worked with. I had a regular therapist that I would be able to sit down and talk to them and be open to them, tell them the truth, how I really feel every time I see them. And it took I would at first I'm like, man, these such and such people, I'm
Right.
not gonna tell them my business, you know, but I had to go to any lengths if I really wanted that true healing. So I was able to surrender and just be honest and open up and talk to this person and trust that they would keep this information between me and them, confidentiality.
Right.
Um, my next therapist is a neurofeedback therapist, which a lot of people don't have access to, but I was blessed to have access to, and that's basically a therapist. Like they hook up stuff to your brain
Mm,
and your ears and sometimes different parts, um and they try to balance your brain back to be balanced because most people, a lot of people, our people are born with a chemical imbalance. So this device gets it back to balance and over and over again. And even that therapist I'm able to sit down and talk to. I enjoy the neurofeedback because it's so weird. Like I could sometimes I did it on purpose just to try it. But like I could go in there mad is all know, heaven knows what I can go out there dumb mad. And they hook it up and within 7 seconds it's like I'm just cheesing for no reason. Like in 7 seconds it's weird, but it helps. It helps. It helps trauma. People have been through a lot of trauma. And then I have uh a hypnotherapy, which is
mm,
I go to and we go back to my childhood and previous times and tell myself that I forgive you and stuff like that to heal the child inside of you. When I don't have access to those, when I really need them, me personally, I love nature. I go on hikes. I'm in California. That's why I love California because it has all these different terrains. Like you have the beach, you have the desert, you have mountains. Like You
Yeah.
have like forests, you have everything out there. And um, I go to nature because that's how I recharge. I'm E5. I don't know if y'all know what E5 is, but I'm E5 with the decades. So I've always been an energy person. But
Mm,
for me, some people get their energy from other people, energy vampires. They'll linger around because you got good energy and they'll linger around and, it draws that to you or whatever. But me, I go to nature to get my recharge because I don't really like people, to be honest. Like, but I don't like them, but in reality, I love them. You know,
mhm, mhm.
so I can't stand people though, and I go to nature and get my recharge. From where I come from. So yeah, that's a few things that I do, and on top of that, my music. If I need to vent like that, I do my music.
Right, right. I think it's
Mhm.
important. I think it's important to have places where you can create peace and
Yeah,
bring peace into you. Because yeah, life can get crazy. It could be crazy out there. And if that's all you got going on, you're gonna stay in that vibe of craziness. So there has to be that moment to come
right,
down.
right,
I love that you go out in nature. I think that nature is underrated, especially when you look at the cultures. Okay, we know, like we know, getting back out there and putting your feet in the dirt, getting out there
hmm
and truly connecting with nature is something else. And I
hmm
think it should be definitely talked about more and promoted more.
right,
You know,
yeah,
because it's a
yeah,
beautiful thing, and once you can do it, you can definitely connect to that ancestry and just your spirits and things like that,
that's
which is
right,
beautiful. You don't hear a lot of
right,
people talking about. You don't hear a lot of people talking about it.
that's right.
Um, where do you where do you kind of see yourself in 5 years? What do you see yourself doing in five?
Well, to be honest, I love my music. I believe in myself, therefore it's gonna happen. It's happening. I'm living in it now. But my purpose is to lead people to somewhere. So whether it's through music or whatever, I'm gonna be standing in front of a lot of people and I'm gonna be giving them an answer
Mm,
or a suggestion. I'm not gonna say an answer because everybody's entitled to their own opinion to do what they want to do, but I'm gonna give them suggestions. And like I have this thing, I don't know what it is, but it's just when people are physically around me, like they really feel my energy and they feel calm and they feel peaceful with me. Like it's so awkward to other people when they're around me because they love it. They're like, I don't know who you are. They're like, who are you? Not even knowing who I
right,
really am. So it's just, I feel like that's used to let people who have given up or lost hope to feel that common energy to say, everything's gonna be all right.
right.
I don't know what you've been through, but you can be this calm and remain with this calm and energy. Everything gonna be all right. And I'm like this through chaos. It could be a chaos head working all around me. I'm used to it. I'm just chill because I know it's gonna be all right. I know
Mm,
that, I'm protected. And I just have a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things. Sometimes I can't talk to everybody about it because I get looked at weirdly or people just kind of shut it down. But I
right,
haven't went through all these different places and learned all this knowledge. Like I'm not just searching on the computer or something. Like I was physically in these environments and in these religions and in these way of lives that I was in. Um, I learned so much, and like I said, especially from what my mom and my pops were, even though they didn't not the one who taught me. I know a lot about the truth, and
mm,
I wish our people knew because it's simple, but we
mm.
make it complicated. But everything is within. That's all I'm gonna say. Everything is within us. Everything is within us.
Right.
Mhm.
Are you talking about like how people still follow religion and still like preaching the religious text, the Bible?
Yeah, that's included. Okay, so like as far as religion, I'm not trying to make the whole podcast about religion because
I mean,
you
I love
know,
talking about all this stuff. I'm a very
yeah,
spiritual,
okay,
so
okay, cool, cool. So because this has been so confusing with me all my life. That's why I finally found out the truth, which eased me. You know, But like I say, my adopted father, he was a Freemason. My adopted mother was an Eastern Star. I grew up in a Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
At like 5, I knew that something wasn't right about that. Even at a young age, I just knew something wasn't right or wasn't right for me. You know,
Right.
it didn't sit right with me, and I used to fall asleep. I wasn't listening to nothing. Then I went to what Horus, the Egyptian religion. I believed in what Horus was, and I was dead set in that. I was like, "Oh, this has to be the truth." I could see it, you know. Well, you can write stuff in a book, but you can't erase that off of that stone wall or whatever it's made out of. The pyramid, you can't erase that. Oh, the American flag right there on the Egyptian on this pyramid. On the inside of this pyramid, the American flag right there. You know, the pig that represents Set is right there on the American flag where they stole Satan at. You know, I'm looking around. Oh, they got the pinnacles, which represents erection, which represents life. And Washington Monument. It's a pinnacle too, but instead they got the red lights at the top for the KKK. So I was like seeing, and I'm like, wow, so this got to be true because everybody's stealing it from here. And
Mm-hmm.
then my homie, shout out to Joseph McNeil. He from Florida, and I met him. And he was like, man, I just found out the truth. He telling me he found out the truth. So I was like, man, no, this is the truth. Like, we really were going back and forth on a friendly, debatable argument about this,
Right.
Horus and his truth. And he introduced me to Yahweh. And I said, oh, you know what? I'll go check it out, Yahweh. So, what got me with Yahweh is that they said God was supposed to be worshiped in spirit and truth. A
Mm-hmm.
spirit, you can't see a spirit, you know, and truth, spirit and truth. I'm like, well, I can't see this. I can see all this over here,
Mm-hmm.
but let me see what you're talking about. So I went over there, and it wasn't no hooping hollering type church. When we walked in there, he had a
Right.
Hebrew concordance. Everybody had a Hebrew concordance, and everybody had a Merriam-Webster dictionary. And we sat down and we decoded the whole Bible. So I realized, like, damn, these are some of the secrets just from decoding it, which taught me how to decode dreams and just a whole nother level. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like elevated so much with that because I was getting the spiritual food, decoding every word. Word is a spell word, so I was decoding everything, thinking that this was the truth. And I'm not saying it wasn't the truth, but the information I was learning was teaching me something for my next stage on my journey. You
Right.
know, then after I found Yahweh, I realized that somebody taught me that the name Yahweh is really like Satan's name. So and there was like they tell you it's the real name, but it's a name. It wasn't pronounced like that. So they was like the tetragrammaton was YHWH, which I have tatted on my wrist, YHWH,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really pronounced Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not Yahweh, it was Yahweh. And then it elevated to a higher, you know, and these are all different higher. That's what that means. A higher extra higher.
Mm-hmm.
I am that I am. So I got so deep and involved in it. And then I used to back in the day I used to detail celebrity cars in Atlanta when I moved to Atlanta. Uh, all the major celebrities came there, and they would always pick me to do their car, because I'm fast, I'm good with it.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody there had these on, and we chopped it up, and they introduced me to it because it's called EFI, and you don't find EFI find you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. So he found me, and he was like, "Man, you need to come to the such and such location," and I got involved in EFI, and people made it seem demonic. And then I
Mm-hmm.
found out, the truth about EFI. Like, you can use it for that if you want to, but you can use the Holy Bible and everything else for that too. So
That
I
part.
was, yeah. So I got deep in it, but then I'm gonna say this: I didn't listen all the way. So when I moved to Tennessee and Virginia, and I didn't have a Babalawo there. I wasn't
Mm,
able to do some of my things I was supposed to do, and it worked for a while up there. But I took the and not gonna like this, but I took the police on like a high speed chase. I had drugs in the car, a lot of them because I was hustling, you
mm,
know. And something just said pull over. I had like 12, 13 police cars behind me, and something just said pull over. I pulled over. Long story short, they ended up taking my drugs, and I had a lot of them. They ended up taking my drugs and gave me a ticket. They said I was driving too close to the car in front of me, but it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I know I just pulled out this spot, so they know he seen me. It was just me on the road. It was one car ahead of me,
right.
and they took my shit, and I was like, I just moved up here. They just told me to call somebody to come, pick up the car or drive me, and that's what I did, and that's unheard of because I was in like a country town up there in Tennessee, and I had a lot of drugs on me because I was selling. I had a lot of them, and they just took them for their own personal use. It was for their own personal use. There was some dirty cops.
But you're alive.
Um, yeah, yeah, and so like I was like, bet, that was my old goon working, and then I got into it. And I put my hands on somebody, and the police was caught. I had got stopped like 6 or 7 times, and every time I had something on me, but every time they just let me go. I didn't have no license or nothing like that. So my
Mm,
EPI was working in the beginning, but as soon as I put my hands on somebody,
mm,
I got incarcerated and I stayed locked up the rest of my remaining my time up there. And I kept going, like they kept just having holds on me. I would try to bond out, they have hold on me some other way that transferred me. That I went through it for like
mm.
a couple years, you know, doing that.
Yeah.
And they took all my lick aids and everything. So then I kind of got discouraged, like, man, fuck this shit. And I knew other people who was in E5 too, and that
Mm,
I through the basically they were saying that this person, the Bible law wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? That's what everybody was saying. It was like, man, I just took my shit off and my life is so much better.
amen.
Some celebrities like like stuntman from like D4L, like 21 Savage, like these 21 Savage still in there though, but big celebrities, we all went to the same Bible, and were just trying to say that she wasn't right. Um, so for years I stayed out of it. For years I went without it because like the police they took all my lick aids and I just couldn't get everything back and I didn't go back to it. So I knew this stud female, um, and basically she was like, you know what, Jew? Well, she called me Block because my name used to be Block. She was like, you know what, Block? She was like, ever since I knew you, you've been searching, just going through here, there, looking for God everywhere, or just trying to find a peace of mind. And you've looked everywhere except for the most important place to look, and that's within, you know. And then it just sent chills down. I'm like, you know what, you're right, you're right, you know, because God is within, you know.
Yeah.
God is within, or the Most High, the source is within. We're all connected. And that's where all the chaos really comes from. It comes
Yeah.
from your mind. That's what the first line of the Bible represents. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. If you decode that line, it says, in the mind, God created good and evil, positive and negative.
Yeah.
It really says common and lofty sky. Lofty sky decoded down is, positive energy, and common, it broke down is earth, which means bottom. Common,
Mm,
positive and negative energy. And that's the first line. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. In the beginning, in the mind, God created positive and negative. There's only two energies, and everybody's connected to them. It's no in between energies, positive and negative. Everybody connected to them. So
yeah.
if somebody's on that frequency wave, if somebody on that positive, everybody's on that same positive energy, that same wave of energy. Negative, the same thing. So it's like but you need both of them for balance. So I was just looking for like a peace of mind, you
Mm,
know, a peace of mind. And I was looking for my higher self. I was looking for God pretty much. And when she said that, it put me in a state of acceptance, you know. Yeah, I
yeah.
need. I need that. And I ended up getting back in E5 though when I came to Cali because I needed it at that time.
Yeah.
It was an accidental step in. I stepped in somewhere. The owner was E5, and it went on from there. I know I'm talking a lot, but see, I mean, it's just what
You're good.
happened.
You're good. You know that we talk a lot about spirituality, and I don't never really shit on religion, but I of course don't. Everything. I tell everyone everything has its truths and its lies within
Most
it.
definitely. Most
And if
definitely.
you look hard enough, you'll see both of them and you can act accordingly. That's why I'm spiritual, not religious, because I
Most definitely.
know the truths. And then, but that whole point about looking within is everything. That's what we all miss. We all are chasing something, going looking for something outside of self, and you'll never find it that way.
Right.
But
Right.
one of the things I've done on my path too is gone within, which has been probably the best thing I ever did for
Mm-hmm.
myself, which opened my eyes to a lot more in that the concept of how we're connected, so connected together. And if we could just see that as a people, man, shit could change. But
Right.
unfortunately, a lot of people don't see that. They're still chasing that outside and waiting for, the savior to come and save them.
Right.
And,
And that's what gets under my skin. It gets
Mm,
under my skin because if people just tune in to their common sense. If you just
right,
tune into your common sense
right.
instead of trying to be smart, book smart, just tune in your common sense really quick. Like a lot of people or whatever they believe that, but they never question why they believe it. Oh, my mama, my granddaddy, my great granddaddy believed in this. And I'm not just bashing Christianity. I'm not
Right.
bashing any religion. I'm just putting my truths out there. Like,
Mhm.
as far as from where I come from the South. I don't know where everybody else is from, but I come from the South, the place where slavery was. And
Big
yeah, and don't get it twisted. The Moors was coming here long before people was brought over here. You know, the Moors sold us to that race, but at the end of the day, you know, they brought us over here. They beat us. They tortured us. They killed the man in front of his family, which the man represented foundation. They broke it down. They didn't want us to read and write. If they didn't want us to read and write, but they gave us that Bible, though, you know, oh, you
right.
can't learn how to read and write, but you better know this Bible because it was a reason.
Mm,
That same ship that we came over here, the name of that ship was Jesus.
yeah,
That's the name of the ship. The first
yeah,
man and the first woman that got on that ship was Adam and Eve. That wasn't their name. The Adam represented man, Eve
right.
represented woman on that ship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And it just pisses me off because we sit here and we eat this trickery up, but
right.
it was a scare tactic. You can I cuss on here?
Oh yeah, we have the parental advisory.
Cool. All right, cool. It was a scare tactic for some bitch ass people, to because to be honest, like that, that's what kills me about this Illuminati shit. Like, you know
Mm,
what I'm saying? People
yeah,
talk about this Illuminati shit and you hear the name and you get so fearful. But if you really knew who the Illuminati was, they some bitches. They some bitch ass people that got that scare tactic. And I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. They were nerds. They are nerds who provided different different areas in Europe with financial gain. Like, because this one man, which was one of the Rothschilds, Rockefeller, one of the groups, this one man had 5 kids.
mm,
And that was the branch. That's how they got the branch, and they all went to different parts of Europe. And when wars was going on, they financed them. They financed everybody's things until they had to become a bank, and then they started doing bigger games. And then now
mm.
they got control, and now they're really some bitch ass nerds that have everybody scared of them. You know what I'm saying? And we outnumber them so much, and they the one who control all of this. They
That
control all of this, but they control all of us because we so scared to come together. If everybody was to come together, you
right.
know. You got to know, just know your truth, and it pisses me off. And it's not just with us. I mean, if you were born in China, you will be believing Buddha. If you were born in Africa, you will be believing Ifa or Islam or
Mm,
what the Egyptians believe. It's just all about where you been, where you at. But they all got the same message. Everybody worry about the messenger, who the messenger is, and not getting the message. You know,
right,
the message is love. The message is with God is within you. You know, what I do respect about Christianity, if people look at it the right way, is no, his name wasn't Jesus. I'm not gonna say it was a man who didn't walk this earth, you know, but it's
right,
a spiritual form. You know,
mm,
God was within that man too, you know,
right,
and it was how you were supposed to treat everybody with love. That's the
right,
whole message.
right.
Love, you know. That's
I
the
say the
whole
same
message.
thing. If you was
Yeah,
really walking around, if you were really doing the teachings, right, you would just be preaching compassion, love, and understanding. That's all you would be
right,
doing. You wouldn't be doing anything else. You wouldn't be condemning no one to hell. You wouldn't be walking around with
right,
any of this.
right.
I've always sat back and been like, how does everyone believe the story that his name was Jesus when J, the letter was not in Hebrew? The letter
Nope.
J doesn't exist, especially
Exist.
back.
Yeah.
Jesus is a Spanish
Right.
Spanish
Right.
name.
The letter J like 300. It was like 300. Probably now about 300, like 90 years old. The letter
And
J.
J is not even pronounced in the Spanish language. There is no
Right.
J. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like even like little things like that. It's just like if you sat and really thought about it, you're
Yeah.
like, so who
Right.
switched it to Jesus? You know, who took
Right.
and made this name? Where did this come from? Because I was the same. I was always asking questions like,
Right.
this don't even sound right. And I would ask people like, they would, and it was like, no disrespect. You're going to come and tell me if I don't believe in Jesus, then he's my savior and he died for my sins, I'm going to hell. And I was like, so you could tell me that I could be a nice person my whole life and never do anything bad and I'm still going to hell because I don't believe
Right.
Jesus is my savior?
Right. 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 And
Wait, what?
and when I first came into I'm not gonna say the truth, but I was coming into the beginning of the truth that I
Mm,
know. I used to get on Christians hell because I would purposely ask
right,
them questions that I know they couldn't answer, that would
right,
baffle them, and they just go out. They just go this way,
right,
like even little things, like you know, um, there's nowhere in the Bible that says he died on the cross. Nowhere in the Bible, you know.
right,
But on Acts chapter 5 verse 30, it say that he was hung and slew on a tree, which sounds just like slaves, you know.
right.
Um,
But then people rock the cross. You rock
right,
this dead man on a cross.
right.
It's just like I don't get it. Again,
And,
yeah, I don't bash them, but I sure don't believe
yeah,
in
right.
the concepts or the
Most
rhetoric
definitely.
that
And
they see.
it say the only way to get to heaven is through Jesus. You know, if the only way to get to the Father is through the
Mhm.
Son. You have to go through Jesus. That's why people worship Jesus. You have to go through Jesus to get
Right,
to well, how did those people before Jesus was born get to heaven? How did they get to
exactly.
God?
So they
You
all went
know?
to hell.
Yeah, right. And a lot of those people were perfect in the sight of God. You know, like
Yeah,
before Jesus was born, Jesus only mentioned the New Testament, and the
yeah,
over half of the Bible is the Old Testament. That they make Bibles without the Old Testament. You know,
right,
it's so deep. It's so deep. It's just like this. I always use this example. And I'm gonna shut up. I always use this example. You know, to try to get people to see this right here. So if you smoke weed and you came to me to buy you a weed. So you gave me $400 every time for an ounce of weed, which is way too much. But you gave me $400 every time for an ounce of weed. I
mm,
would go get you the weed. I would go to the plug because you can't go to them. That's what I tell you. You can't go to the plug, but I can. So you give me this 400. I go to the plug. I come back and bring you your ounce. You are unaware that every time I go to the plug, I only give him $200, and I put the other two in my pocket. So I'm
right,
capping 200 every time. And then, Lord and behold, one day me and you go out, such and such and such, and somehow I run into the plug, and we all there, and you find out he's the plug, and you find out his ounce only $200. The first thing you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be upset with me because you're gonna realize that I've been charging you $400 for 8 months,
Right.
and you've been paying me 200 too much. You're gonna get rid of me because you can go to the plug yourself. You don't
Mm,
need me to go to the plug. It's the same thing with religion. You're gonna get mad at me and you're gonna dismiss me from being the middleman. That's basically what Jesus is. Because God created each and every one of us. Guess what? I can go right here or somewhere outside and talk to God. You know, I don't
yeah.
have to worship another man to get to God who's
Yep.
never met me before. This other man has never met me before, you know. And to be honest, the Trinity is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, you know. But where does the woman come in at?
More right.
Father, Son, you know, it takes a mother to make a son. So Father, Son, and then a Holy Spirit. And they say Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit. You know,
Right.
that Father got the Spirit and the Son got the Spirit and women have the Spirit in them too. You
Yep.
know, so Christianity kind of bashes women. Yeah, Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel, and all
Right.
of a sudden, all these other people come out like from where?
Right. A
You
bunch
know,
of incest was
yeah,
going on apparently back then.
man, it couldn't even have continued. You know, so
It's a bunch of bullshit. It's a
right,
lot. It's a lot of bullshit. The story is like, to me, childhood tales. Because even Noah's Ark, it's just like, so how did y'all repopulate without
right,
incest?
right,
Like, it don't make no sense. So you just tell me the whole of our societies are all jacked up anyway. Okay,
right,
we believe these stories. Okay, but
right.
yeah, those, to me, it's division, and it's to separate for us to feel less than. So if I got
Yeah,
to go to a pastor, a priest, a pope, and a bishop, and all these other people because they're holier than me, then I'm less than. I'm at the bottom of the food
mhm,
chain, right? I'm less than, and I got to go through all of them to even get close to God. Like,
right.
no,
They more corrupt than you. And if you think they won't lie to you, I mean, listen to the people who just or I'm not trying to get anybody to change their religion. I'm just trying to get you to use your mind and
right?
see that if you think these people that hand you that Bible, that hand you that Quran, that hand you whatever you read, if you think these people won't lie to you,
Mm,
every winter on December 25th on national TV, we spot a man on some reindeer dropping presents down people who don't even have chimney, and they be like, "Oh, he been spotted here," and make
right,
everybody excited. And this man go drop everybody gifts in one day, and they publicly put this out there
right.
for you to believe. If, if you think they won't lie to you about what they give you need to go do some research, man. Your own digging into what you believe in. Saint
Yeah.
Nick.
For real. I always tell people, go, if you just go and just do the history, all of these massacre people behind faith, every last one of them massacre people. So it wasn't just like, oh yeah, you need to convert. It was like, you don't believe this, you're dead. You don't believe this, you're getting burned. You don't believe this, we're slaughtering you and your family. And then we're taking your stuff. And it's like people got slaughtered over this stuff. This is not all like nice and beautiful and loving that it's supposed to be, that they pretend to be today. This is all based on blood. All of these religions are built on blood. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't even go back to look at that, though. Don't go back to
Yeah.
research that. Don't go back to understand that. And it wasn't
Right.
that long ago that it was built
Right.
on, you
Right.
know? So
Yeah.
it's like, that's what I said. That's a whole other podcast. We'd be here.
Yeah. Yeah. All night. Yeah.
We,
Tell you.
we, we could be here a long time talking about that, because I understand. And again, I don't ever, it's not about conversion or converting people, but it is about speaking truth. And I like to speak truth on here to get people to
Right.
open up their minds instead
Mm-hmm.
of just being the sheep and believing the bullshit that's out there, because this is the doctrine that keeps us stuck as
Right.
people, it keeps us stuck as communities. It
Right.
keeps us in these like bullshit circles that we can't get out of. And until we keep opening up the dialogue to have these conversations, which might be uncomfortable for some people, right?
Mm.
Got to push that envelope, because more people, it's like, wake up, just
Right. That's it.
wake up in the push. We could get it. But yeah, we went on a little tangent, but it's
We
okay.
did. We did. It's okay.
But
Well deserved.
before we wrap up, just what advice would you give to inspiring rappers coming up in the game that want to, hit this industry or want to make their mark? What would you tell them?
I would first tell them that don't stop chasing your dream, but know what you want out of it. Because what you think that you're chasing, you think how it's going to be, definitely not like that. You know, so that has to be exactly what you want. I mean, some people say, I just want some money, and that's cool. But once you get in there, you're stuck, pretty much stuck. So you have to know, like, are you looking to be signed to a record label? I would say save your money, because if you're not trying to be signed, but you want help, because record labels sign you because you popping. Record labels sign you because you have you influence people and you can get people's attention, and they don't want you if you can't do that. You can be one of the best rappers it is, but if you don't got no attention, you can't captivate people's minds. They don't want you, or if you're not really already putting yourself on, they don't want you, because they gotta look at you as how you gonna make me some money. You
Mm-hmm.
can How you gonna make me money? I can front you money, but it's a front, you know, because I
Right.
need you to do what I need you to do. So if you are with all the shit that go on behind the scenes, if you with it, and it doesn't matter, you just want to be famous or whatever situation may be, then keep chasing your dream, but just know why you're really doing it. For one thing, never give up. I can't tell you not to rap. I can't tell you not to do music. But if you're great at other things besides that, it's a lot of things out there that make you a whole lot of more money than what artists make. Artists not really making no money like that. Even the rappers you see right now today, they didn't make all that money you see in those videos. Some of that money is prop money, but they didn't make all that money off of rap. Whether they was hustling or they got a little bread and they invested it. That's why a lot of people, open up little clothing stores or they get into real estate. They're not making all their money off of music. You know, we have social platforms now. We have all the like Apple Music and stuff like that. They're not paying you. You make more money off of shows. So you
Mm.
know what I'm saying? Like, but if it's your dream, just keep chasing it, man. Just keep chasing. Just know that what you thought it was, it's not. It's not. I'm just being honest.
What is that saying? What everything that glitters isn't gold.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Mm-hmm.
you like pay attention, how important do you feel it is for people to stay true? Because we see it a lot where you could go on a lot of artists, and when they first came out, they had a very authentic kind of vibe to them, and then the money comes, and all of a sudden, then you see the bullshit rap. I
Yeah.
call it the
Yeah.
bullshit industry rap.
Yeah.
Females, if you look, because I just did a podcast on it where I was like, females in my day that came out, they wasn't shaking their ass and twerking. They weren't talking about they
Yeah. Yeah.
vagina and shit. They came out with a message and was like, we have a voice. And I was comparing it to the women today in how you see majority of them,
Right.
especially the ones that are out there commercially, right? That's all they do. It's twerking, showing their ass,
That's it.
selling it to the what do you have to say about the women coming up? Because I would love to see women that got the skills that ain't twerking and selling their ass basically to get to the top as far as rap goes. But what do you feel about that?
Well, I don't see it changing no time soon. It's a lot of hard women out there that's rapping. Not I mean even that's undiscovered.
Right,
I don't
right.
I don't see it happening soon,
Mm,
because when the younger generation see it, that's what's instilled in them. And you know like what I saw growing up was, on TV, was, it was killing, but it was more like battle rap, and then it was killing, with the Tupac stuff like that, or the little
mm,
beef. But they wasn't really, people were dying, but not like they are today. It was at least more about fists and stuff like that, like fighting and whatever that was instilled in me to be how I am today, you know, and what I see in my environment. But what my generation is broadcasting to the younger generation is
Mm,
a manipulation thing. So that's what their childhood is gonna be based off of. So when they get to a certain age, up in age, they're gonna realize that how manipulated they were, but they're gonna already been taught their kids. So I don't see it being that way. And then they're making it charming. They're making it, you know, a way to get money. Especially in
right,
people in those situations. That's why they're using Sexy Red. I mean, she from the hood, you know, she's basically saying, you know what, she promoting getting diseases. She promoting, you know, smashing these other dudes for money to get your, you know, and people see all of the money, and every woman has a vagina, you know. So it's like I can just do this, you know, find a man that got the money, give it to
right.
him, ooh, or, you know. So it's like easy access. So um, unless we do have our women stand up, I just don't see it going that way no time soon. To be honest, the only way all this is gonna stop, the only way all of this is gonna stop is if they rap. Like if
Mm,
they just, you know, rap becomes a non-factor, it could happen. It could
yeah,
happen. But
it sucks. It does.
yeah,
I'm sad. I'm sad for the women rappers. I know there's a lot more out there that really got skills and they're not getting their shots because if they're not willing to take their clothes off, and we've seen a lot of people leave. So, how important is it to stay true to oneself in the music industry?
I think it's very important to be authentic and be your true self no matter what, no matter if the world turned against you for being who you are, because
Mm,
that means you're doing something right. It's just how it all boils down to how strong are you, you know, because even if you wasn't known, are you still that person? You know, are you still that person when the camera go off? Are you still that same person, you know, when people come up to you? Are you able to react that same way that you portray on camera? So I mean,
mm,
it's really it's really a good thing to be authentic, especially like for me, like where I'm trying to take people and try what I'm trying to get them to see. You know,
mm,
I don't fear nothing that I know could come from me, and I know it could come from me. Because the first thing you want to do is, you know, the reason why. Okay, so I'm gonna just tell you this real quick. Um, Not in the physical form, but it's like three doors. It's two doors and a path. You know, it's one door over here. You can choose to go this way. It's one door you can choose to go this way. You can choose to
mm,
keep going straight. You know, and if you're authentic to who you are, you're probably gonna keep going straight. But if you go straight, if you're on your own, you know,
mm,
and ain't no help, and they make it hard for you to make your duckies, make your coins, if you don't choose one of these doors. So being authentic, which a lot of rappers realize that, like you know, it's really a setup. You know, at first when you're eager and hungry to get money, you're gonna do whatever. But what happens when you get that money, and then you
yeah,
realize that that still didn't make you happy? You still got worse shit going on you had before. You know,
mm,
then what you gonna do? Now you stuck. You stuck in this. You stuck in this way. And then if you decide to exit this way or stand out, usually they try to hush you up. You know,
right.
that's why people fear them. That's why people fear them because then they hush people up. But they don't hush the people
Mm,
up. They send somebody else to hush you up. You know, so it's like if you're really true to who you are, you know, then you won't have any regrets if you do get hushed up. You know,
right.
you started like, um, I just say, be yourself. But if that's the route you want to take, then that's being yourself because you want to take that route. But
Mm,
if you don't really want to take that route, I think you're gonna manipulate that, you know, the game to fit you. You know, it don't usually work like that. So just be yourself, man, because you're gonna get, you know, just like I'm gonna give a quick example, like Young Thug. You know, Young Thug, I didn't know him personally, but when I
mm,
was in Atlanta, you know, I learned about him from people in his neighborhood, and he really was like, you know, he really was a gangster person. Like he really lived that lifestyle he was talking about. But
mm,
he wanted some money so bad that when they told him to go put that dress on, Young Thug wasn't gay. You know, he wasn't gay. He said all that gay stuff and he wore the skirt because that's what they wanted him to do, because they wanted him to promote that upon gangster men so they would accept it. Because more people from the hood gonna speak out on that, you know. Like, but now you speak out on it, it's a hate crime, or you put your hands, it's a hate crime, and then you know, all that bullshit. But they're making you accept it. But Young Thug was just making the hood accept it. That's why they paid him all that money. That's why they pay you all that money, because you got a label, you got a what's the word I'm looking for? Um, not agenda, but what it is an agenda, but it's another word I can't think of right now. But you have to do this, and that's why you get paid all that money. You do it, but then
Right.
hush hush, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just like, just be yourself, and if it's not for you, then it's not for you, you know. It's always important to be yourself, because if you're not yourself, you're gonna be very uncomfortable in situations. You're gonna put yourself in places that you're uncomfortable with, and your real self is not going to get along with it, and you might go crazy and off yourself. You know, how a lot of people, you know, take themselves off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sad world in the industry. We definitely know that. Are there any artists that you dream about collaborating with?
Huh. That's a good question. Even now, I don't really collab with people.
Mm.
You know, like even now, like I think on this album I got right now, I got two people on my album. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't really do a lot of collabs because I don't know the people who are on my album. I know them. I know their life. You know, they was with me at some point in my life. They're still with me, and I know that they're gonna get on my track and speak real. You know, they're not gonna mislead. They're gonna tell it real. So I don't really do a lot of collabs. Um, to be honest, I can't say. Like, I mean, if somebody who had a name came to me, I would do it just for exposure, maybe.
Mm.
But um, I don't really have anybody. Like, I think I would. I mean, like if Kodak, I would do something with Kodak, because Kodak is real deeper than he make himself to be. You know,
Mm.
he really know some truth.
Mm.
You know, I always want to do something with Tip, but I know a lot of Tip family. You know, his uncle used to come shop with me. You know, his uncle is an addict. He used to come shop with me. I know his cousin. His cousin. Um, I met him twice, and
Mm.
one I used to talk to Allen Iverson cousin. I used to talk to Allen Iverson cousin, and I probably shouldn't be saying this on here because it was posted. I'm not gonna say it, but they had some dealings with T.I. and his wife and stuff like that.
Mm.
And you know, I was with her when Tip came and picked up, and she came back. This was around the time when he came out with that song with Iggy Azalea. I don't want no mediocre or something like that.
Mm.
Well, she told me some things that just fucked me up, man. I respect Tip. I fuck with Tip. I still listen to Tip. But
Mm.
when I seen Tip, or when I seen certain people, that I thought, were not taken away from his street career, but he just got other stuff going on in other areas that I wouldn't think he would have going on. That's his business. I'm not bashing him, but it's
Right.
just what it is. I wouldn't be like, damn, like I used to like Tip, like, he thorough, like Boosie thorough. These type of people that I like are thorough. And when I found out this about Tip, just from her being with him and his wife and what he enjoy and what he like, and like, Tip, not you, Tip, not you. And it makes me look at him different. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes it's built up in our head by how these people portray themselves to be,
Right.
and you give them all this credit. So I can't, I like doing songs with people who are really about what they talk about.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
understand that. I say that too. They're just people. They're
Mhm.
not like a lot of people put them up like they're gods and
Mhm.
they're not human anymore, but they're definitely human and they all got flaws,
Yeah, most def. Yeah,
you
most
know.
def.
It's okay. You don't have to have no faves. You don't, I like that your approach though to it is keeping it like to keep that authenticity and people that are real. And
No.
so I feel like just that intention is gonna bring those real people to you somewhere on your
Mhm.
path anyway, you
Most
know,
def. Most def.
because we know doing shit for fame ain't always what it's cut out to be either, right?
No.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. I know we're a little bit over. Thank you so much for coming on and just
Thank you
chopping
for
it up
having
with me.
me. Thank you for having
Um,
me.
I did want to tell you, I listened to a couple songs right now. I'm gonna tell you, I think it's called My Mind is my favorite right now. That's my
Yeah,
favorite one right now.
most def. I got a new one up there
Okay.
that I think is gonna be like the one. I
Okay.
feel it. It's deep to me. You know, it's called If I Say. It just was released. It's called If I Say, but it's spelled EF and
Okay.
EYE. Say. If I Say. Um, I think that's gonna probably be like my single. I'm gonna shoot a video for it, push it.
Okay.
Now, once again, I appreciate you for having me, and thank you for liking my mind. You know, most
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
I subscribe. I went and subscribed over there. So yeah.
Where you subscribe on Spotify,
um on
Apple?
YouTube. I
Oh,
just fixed my Spotify, so I probably will be able to follow you on Spotify now because I just fixed it.
Spotify be adding other people's music to my stuff though. Like
Mm,
I don't know, it connects a lot of people. So when people find you on Spotify and they play their music, it plays other people's music. I don't know why. So I mess with Apple Music. Apple Music been thorough all the way
um,
through. I don't even really promote my YouTube, but I appreciate you even subscribing to it. I don't promote it because
I'm an
yeah,
Android person, so
yeah, yeah. I get you. I get you. It's all
so
good. No beef. No beef. You know.
I don't be on Apple like that. We Spotify over here.
Yeah, I was deaf. I was deaf.
All right. Again, I will have his links. You guys, I'll have all the links that I can in the description, but you guys can go and search him up and follow him. Go show him some love. Go over there and follow his pages. Follow where he's at, especially if you guys are in Cali, over there on the West Coast. Go over there and follow so you can pop up at the shows. All right. As always, you guys. Until
July
next.
20th. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, Big Juice.